helping people when they say they need me financially, but I create opportunity for them in creating jobs. You know, it's not a day that don't go by or a month that don't go by that I create a job for somebody. I mean, these are the kind of things that I do as a business person, and I try to surround myself with the center of influence with governors, aldermen, police officers, nurses, doctors, small business people who are contact me all the time or want to try to create wealth within their community. And so the three things I bring is I bring new ideas, I create new business, and I influence other people. That's not only through my profit, but also through my nonprofit. I like people to come to me, and I like people to, once I see a great light in me having a radio station and bringing the people together. Once I'm able to reach a certain point in this radio station, it's going to allow us to become a better and better and better community. I'm hoping that we can do that when you call in Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio and ask for CJ Graham. We're going to go to a commercial right now. I'd like to say once again, we're at Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio, and we'll go to commercial real fast, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
Tune in, ladies and gentlemen. If you got DirecTV, tune in right now. You can listen to us as well. We're on 864 right now. That is our new family network, as well as continue listening to us and download our radio station app off of Google Play Store. Go ahead, it is totally free. You're listening to E to the Fourth Power with CJ Graham on Smooth 90.5 FM.
There you go. We're live on Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. This is CJ Graham with E to the Fourth Power. You can call us in at 630-215-8582. We're sitting here in Chicago South suburbs, and we're discussing the economic, education, entitlement, and expungement in our community. That's what E to the Fourth Power stands for, where you're taking the negative into a positive and positive to empowerment. Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Once again, the number is 630-215-8582. Like again, I hope you look forward to next week. I'm going to have my friend Dr. David E. Morgan. He has a PhD in education. He has an excellent background, and we're going to be discussing the past, present, and future of the educational system within America. He's got an excellent background, not only being a teacher, superintendent, a principal. He's also been a professor. He's wrote, I think, 3 or 4 books already, and the one that we wanted to discuss next week is going to be an unbroken educational apartheid legacy, and he deals with the Chicago South suburban, predominantly black communities of color and the direction that it's going. I look forward to talking to him because I've sat down with him many a day to discuss the plight of our community and the future of it. As we return, if you just tuning in, I was discussing about the economic conditions and the educational conditions in our community and what we as African Americans and in America has done. And the key to all of this is that a lot of people say, well, you know, what we need to do? We need to continue to vote. We have the Republican convention went on, the Democratic convention going on, and the strength in the numbers that were enabled to change things has been the power of voting. You know, that has changed every aspect, no matter where you go into. If you go into economics and I'm on the Chamber of Commerce, and when we have our meetings, the meetings is still, it's a president, it's a structure there. They call it rules, Robert's Rules of Order, and we follow those rules. But in the end, it comes down to we voting of what we're gonna do to empower our community and change it. And so we vote. We take a vote, and the majority of the vote wins the decision making. We have a major election coming on right now, and the power of voting is evident because one to the left, one to the right, and you have to make a decision, and it has to be an educated decision and understanding the economic conditions in which you do and what they're going to be entitled to once somebody get elected, what you're going to get out of that, and what your family and friends going to get out of it. And that's all it's about. It's all about what you're going to get. And we have, by our power and fighting for the right to vote and using those voting, we have changed the economic plate of our communities. It is tremendous, not only America. The African American community has been recognized culturally as what people look at and say, oh, that's their base, how the world is going. Through the African American, the eyes of the African Americans that's in our community. We have put a dent in the community, even though we're less than 15% of the population. We're still president of the United States, one of the greatest country in the world. It's a fact. It's the greatest country in the world. And through the economic, and it will continue to be through the economic, educational, entitlement, expungement, the process of giving and taking. And that's where me as a middle class person is sometimes hurt by that, because we are constantly giving to make it whole. I was discussing with somebody most of the people you see marching, for the poor are not the poor. It's the middle class, upper class people looking out for the poor. But you don't see poor people all in line marching downtown or on the highway and the expressway, and people don't realize, well, one thing, probably because they can't afford to do those things that us being middle class do. As I march downtown, as I march in other communities and City Hall to discuss the the conditions of those of less fortunate, we continue to see that that's the best way to do it, because that's the way to get in front of the media and present our case on what we need. Right now, presently, we're struggling through all these things through our governor had held back in Illinois. This is Illinois, has held back some funding that has left many of our schools, including my alumni. I went to East Illinois. They're on the verge of shutting down. But for some reason, I think 2 years from now, he'll say, well, I saved the state $30 billion. But on the backbone of maintaining the economic welfare of the small business, the education is falling apart because people weren't able to go to school. The entitlement, which is the programs that are set up to give the less fortunate, and the expungement, which is programs on the last resort when people get out of jail or whatever, all those programs are suffering. And maybe you can see that when you see these things people are robbing, taking cars and doing those type of things. Those are basically due to the economic and conditions of those each of the four power conditions that present in those communities. If we can take care of those 4 plates and focus on those 4 plates, when we get $1 in the community, we put them into each of the 4th power zone, those things will be taken care of, because all those line up with what we need to do as a community. I look forward to talking to my guest next week, Dr. Morgan, because he's an expert in dealing with, not only as a business person and a lecturer and an educator, he has been around the world. I think he just got back from Paris, so he understands. He's not only just locally, he's an international person, and he can educate us on the direction and where we're at as a whole. So I look forward to, once again, speaking with Dr. Morgan, to discuss where we're at today. And people don't realize that we're better off today than we ever were in the history of this country. So being on this radio station, I couldn't been on I couldn't been on it 15 years ago. But the opportunity to come on the show and do these things and say these kind of things to motivate our community. And it's not to say that that's not all my focus, but because when I do marching, 50% of the people that marching with me are not of African American descent. They understand that if these 3 each of the 4 power does get better, the whole community gets better. It becomes a better community for us as a whole when the bottom rises up. And so we have to meet. The top has to meet with the bottom so we can rise up and become the middle. And the middle means that you're going to be able to get some of the daily things without having to struggle for basic necessities. I have a friend that, he thinks he's better off, but sometimes he's not better off because, some of the things that he's getting through being poor. And some things you can say, he said he might, another $40,000 that he has lost in income. I said, well, if you get it back, he wouldn't get it. His girlfriend wouldn't get a good education to pay for it. She wouldn't get the insurance for $10 a month. The things, the resources, that $40,000 more would actually cause him to pay $400, $500 a month in insurance, health insurance. So it's a balance that we're trying to come together, and that's why it's so important that we focus on either the 4 power, and we also come out to vote. I have plenty of friends. They know better not to talk about not coming out to vote, because when we come out to vote, all these things that I'm trying to do and speak upon will come to fruition, and we're moving forward and be a success. If you get an opportunity, please give me a call at 630-215-8582. I'm looking forward to your calls. I know for sure I'm going to have a whole bunch of calls coming in for Dr. Morgan, because I know that he's going to enlighten us on what things that we need to do to better our community and the struggles that we have to improve it. Me being a small business person and being able to survive and move forward and able to have time to contribute to the nonprofit, as not only just financially but physically, is a remarkable thing, to be able to sit down and talk to people about what we need to do to move our communities all over the country forward. Today I had a friend said, got this gentleman's going to call you. He's from another country. He'd like to discuss the economic plate of a mall and some of the areas that he think that we can go forward with. So she connected me with a man that originally from Nigeria, that he wants me to get together how we can discuss and take advantage of all the lands that he can see, that he can see that we can have, and we don't have to go all the way across town because of the economic plate that we're getting is right there. He sees the dollars, so through his eyes, he sees things that I cannot see. In his country, in Nigeria, where he's got many African billionaires to look at, and people have focused on businesses for hundreds of years, where in our community we've been struggling. So I look forward to meeting him this Monday to discuss how we can improve our community just through communicating. You know, it's not all about money, because money moves in a lot of different ways, but if we can communicate and network together, we can move a lot of things forward. You know, and that's the things I have done in order to be in this position that I am now. I've created my own real estate business. I've created my financial services. My daughter graduated from college and created her own set of business. I've networked with other businesses. Also, and then I don't mind hustling for the next dollar. If I got to drive somebody, I got to cut my own grass, I got to do those things to create the financial. You know, I got a family reunion coming through, so I have to do a lot of running around in the family reunion. This is going to be our first family reunion on my father's side of the family, and we look forward to getting together, and especially the younger generation. I'm kind of the older generation, so the next generation, the next generation, I look forward to seeing them and letting them know that here's some information, here's how we can help you, here how we can create financial independence in our own family. We can build this empire now, because now that we're coming together, we're going to have newborns together. We're going to have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. I told my sister that I look for him. I look forward to getting together with them and talking to them about what we can do to move forward. One of my great nephews is going off to college, and so we're going to do a trunk party at the family reunion where we're going to make sure he has the necessary things that he needs to be successful. We need, basic computers. He needs blankets, sheets, and every necessity that he needs. Also, real quick, I know somebody just called me. I'd like my buddy to give me a call right back. Mr. Alexander, please give me a call back, and I know you have something important today to say to me. I appreciate you calling me back today at 630-215-8582. Give me a call back, buddy, because I know you got something important today. He had been one of my guests before on the show before, and he does a lot of different things to connect, to keep things together. We're working as business partners in the insurance business, but we also looking forward to working with one of our friends. He's a former NFL player, how we can do some things that's going to create opportunity within the sports industry, and making sure that these people who get injured get the necessary benefits they deserve when they become injured. So I look forward to discussing that, and also discussing the future of them playing the sport and financially putting themselves in the right position. So if you get an opportunity, Robert, I want you to definitely give us a call back. That phone number, once again, is 630-215-8582. As we move along with the program, it's been like a heartening week for me. Not only with me trying to get the family reunion together, the Chamber of Commerce. I work with the community, and I get a lot of calls with people needing help, needing legal representation because there's a lot of family issues. But I tell everybody, the key to everything is, in order for me to be either the fourth power, we have to be a family. I look at everything that I do, and I always ask. I'm always thankful for the person that gave me the job opportunity, the person who gave me the opportunity to speak on the radio. I've done that many a time, so I'm thankful for that. And so, but family is the key. Okay, we're going to take this call. Hello?
Hello, caller. Go ahead. Yeah, Cliff Ram on the line. Go ahead.
Hey, Cliff. This is Scott. How you doing?
All right. How you doing, Scott? How was your day?
Go ahead, Cliff.
Yes, Scott?
Go ahead, Scott. Hello, caller.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm having problems with the phone.
Okay, go ahead. Cliff.
You got a question? You got something to say, Scott?
Hey, how you doing, Cliff? I was just calling to chime in. I was trying to join your discussion as far as economic improvement within the community.
All right. I know you do a lot of things with your church. I know that we discussed some things, and me and you both have stopped by to discuss some things going on in the community of Chicago, and I'm glad you had come aboard with me to discuss and help me volunteer to do the economic services in our community. What's on your mind, though, Scott? You got something on your mind you'd like to discuss that you talk about?
No, I was just overhearing your conversation where you're talking about, getting the community together to do things that will have a positive impact on the community. And I guess, I overheard you mention it at the family union. I just think that with a lot of families, that's probably the first place to start on a small-scale basis, especially with like a family union, because you have people coming in from all different parts of the country. It's just an excellent place to start and to get more improved economic growth and education, within our community.
Right.
About that are bothering us, or they're not in our favor.
Right, and I know that me and you discussed it many times about the insurance aspect, and that's usually the main part that I deal with is insurance. I just had a meeting where you can take one policy and sign up to 20 people from your family on one policy. That is a powerful thing to do. So when I go to my family reunion and I got a grandmother, and you can talk about a little more too, Scott, after I finish. I got a grandmother who can sign all her daughter and her son up. She can sign up her grandson, her granddaughter. She can sign up her great-grandchildren. She can sign up her fiance, if a grandmother have a fiance. But 20 people on one policy, and all you need is a name and a date of birth. Isn't that something that's remarkable about? That's a basic. That means you can cover everybody in your household with funeral expenses. Can you elaborate on something like that, Scott?
Yes, that could be done. It's just like I say, it's a process just educating our family and spreading what we have. I know one thing that I talk about a lot is, it's every person's responsibility in the community to teach everything that they know. So your father, you got children or had children coming up, it's just our responsibility to make sure we teach our children what we know. And that's one of the ways that we can increase our knowledge, which is power, often referred to as power. That's where we can increase our financial situation, increase our resources. If we, communicate more so people know what, each other do. What do you do can benefit me, but if I don't talk to you, I never know that, and vice versa.
Well, that's true, and that's one reason why I look forward so much to getting together with the family reunion and doing the running. I'm running around like I work for my family, but I know that we have businesses. The family has small businesses. I have a nephew who owns a barber shop. I have a niece that cooks out of her own house, out of her own home, and she serves food to the less fortunate. And then I have another niece who designs clothes, and she makes her own clothes. So just getting together, and they're going to be shocked when they see the family book that's going to show them about how many small businesses that we actually have in our own family, and we're creating now that we can start working together to use their resources. Now, how have you been listening to the show?
Today, I just got on maybe 5 minutes ago.
Okay, did you cut on the radio, or how did you chime in on us?
Chimed in from listening from the radio. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you called, and I appreciate your call. Look forward to you passing the word out, and you go on our favorite social media and let everybody know. We got to contact our buddy Rob and let him know, because I talked to him today. I made tell him to follow up on my call, because I made him a financial contract agreement that verbally. So give him a call and tell him Cliff looking for your call, man. I'll talk to you about that later. I appreciate your call, Scott. You take care now.
All right, then take care, man. I'll do that.
All right,
I appreciate it.
All right, love you, brother. Take care.
All right, man. Love you back.
Yeah. That's just one of my guys that I've been around. We have the same friends, but it's been 30 years of knowing him. But really, we become closer, you know, as we get older. Because he said, well, I wish I would have knew and we could have been together early. No, it's important that we living a long life. So now we're best of friends now. We have never worked together, but because our old relationship with other people brings us together. So now we're in our midlife crisis, or whatever you want to call it. But we're now focusing on the economic, what we can really do for our community, and we're doing it. You know, I appreciate his support, and I support him. So that's one of the reasons that I partner off. I do it all the time. And now it's just time that it has to pay off as a whole. It can't just be seen blindly. I walked around my community today, and I discussed the positive aspect of what I put in. It's not the person that you see all the time on the front page news. It's the little people that walk in the community. And the African American community has done that a lot of times, where you recognize something that you say, oh, and then say, oh, he started that? Oh, yeah, he the one begun that. And that's what we have to start doing. We have to be able to recognize the community as a whole. We have to come together and do the things that we talked about, me and Scott talked about. And definitely the family reunion, you know, you're talking about between minimum of 30 to 100 people showing up. You know, this is the first one, so we kind of just putting it together on that side of the family. On my mother's side of the family, it's been going on for like 30 years, and they do it all over the country. You know, they go from Texas to LA to Tennessee to Chicago, and we try to chime in as much as we can, and we have a board, we have everything going on, so we keep abreast of what's going on in the community. Sometimes we come back, we don't stay that long, but it's keep going. Somebody every year is at a different state. You know, I think they're scared of Chicago, though. I think I'm sort of like the fast track for them when you come from Texas and Tennessee. They say, oh, that's Chicago, the fast talking guy. You know, but in the end, they see the results of what my labor, my fruit of my labor has brought upon, which is not about. It seems like it's about money, because if you look at what I have, you could say, oh wow, no, it's not how much you make. It's what you do with what you have, and also you have to keep the faith that things are going to get better. And not only once you get that, you have to respond and react. I'm just not doing either the fourth power just to be doing either the fourth power, and the radio station is not supporting me, because they're going to see these numbers that's going to go up astronomically because of the way and the direction that we're trying to go. And it's a matter of time before we become the most influential each of the fourth power show on in the Chicago. And I look forward to it, because I know I have that support, and it's a matter of us just working together. And every day when I go back to my family reunion, I'm going to tell them, all of them, tune in to Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio from 6 to 7. So that alone, if I just do my own family, I have 100 people. So I say tune in from 6 to 7. Give me a call, you know, and communicate with me. So I have the resources to do that, and I look forward to growing and growing and growing. And each of the fourth power will continue to focus on how we can bring economic and take our spending power to the next level. So if anyone like to call me at 630-215-8582, please do so. I look forward to your call. What else can I discuss today? Besides, I don't like to really get much into talking about crime and things like that. I like to talk about opportunity. And not only am I an insurance agent, I am hiring people. We're hiring people all the time. You can go into the insurance business, so we say we're hiring, and we can, Scott didn't mention it, but we offer residual income for life. You know, it's jobs out there with every time you do something, once you get that contract in, you'll get a check for the rest of your life. For the life of that person. Okay? So it's a lot of opportunity in what I'm trying to do. And so when I bring it together, I create it, and I'll discuss it another time about some of the direction again, but I want to move my sponsors. I want to create the whole positive aura of me being on the radio and chime in on TV and things like that, to create the each of the fourth power brand, because it is a brand, and that brand will be expanded upon in all kind of ways, and I'm doing it right now. And only way I can do it is through my family and through God. You know, not only do I pray upon it, I act upon it, and then I talk to my family about it, and they're constantly sending me people to create this massive, I call future empire. But the only way I can do it is through that family and our community. And that's why I'm on the radio station right now. I'm focusing on us as a unit, not as an individual, but as a massive unit. As being in financial service for over 20 years, that compound money. You know, last week, 2 weeks ago, we received some money within the pension to say, well, you want your pension, or do you want to know a rollover? You know, not only do I have experience personally with dealing with people with rollover, I still have consultants around me, because I'm not, if my day-to-day expertise is not there, I just still have me a financial advisor. Me being in that business, I still have financial, I still have me an accountant, even though I know I have a tax business, I still have a tax accounting to do the things that I need to do. Because long term, I have people that are around me that help me make the right decision, and that's the things that I want to give to you all. My wealth is my knowledge and the information, and the three centerpieces that I discuss about bringing new ideas. So when you call me, if you got anything that you want to discuss, or any opportunity, any wealth you want to create, any business or brand, or anything like that, you can give us a call here at 630-215-8582. And because it all fits in either the fourth power. We're here to create wealth. We're here to create equality and positive opportunity for everyone. And through that, we have to go with the highs and the lows. So I focus on bringing new ideas, creating new businesses, and the center of influence that I have to put you in the right position. We have that now, and that's why each of the fourth power is going to be able to create that. When I sit down to Dr. Morgan next week to discuss his background and the things that he's trying to put in the community by writing this beautiful book that he has, like I said, The Unbroken Educational Part of That Legacy, he discusses the positives and the negatives and what we need to do to move forward. And it's about unity. You know, it's about, somebody sent me something today in reflection to, don't get mad at another man when he has disagree with you. Just agree to disagree, and then move forward to discussing on what you can agree upon. And I thought that was a pretty nice saying. So, I try to focus on bringing the positive and stay away from the negative. Sometimes I hear the negatives when I wake up in the morning. I hear the radio sounding off, or the TV sounding off, or maybe my wife saying something but then I say, I always flip it back to the positive, that we're communicating, we're discussing it, and we're moving forward. Because once we break the mode of discussion, then we can talk about solutions. I was listening to a TV show, and they had one of the top entertainers in the country on, and they were discussing the plight of the community as far as the crime, about the differences on fighting and differences. And he said, well, I've been married a long time, and I've had opportunity to be see a marriage counselor many days. And he's got a little comedy and he laughed about it. But he said, but one thing I say is that when you bring the issue, all these issues that both Republicans and Democrats have discussed are issues that when you bring them out, now you can look at them and now you can say, hey, now we can solve them. So it's a point of getting better now. You're looking at it's the worst. No, it's getting better now, because now we're discussing it on every side of the coin. It's no longer a taboo to discuss about race, to discuss about your financial struggles. It's not a taboo to discuss about your sexuality. It's not a taboo anymore. And by we discuss each of the four power, it's going to create that positive vibe. So when we take all the negatives and put them together, and we put out how we feel, we able to solve these problems. When I discuss things with the producer of the show or whatever, we're going to try to create a positive image and grow so we can become the best. And that's what we want to do. We want to take the best out of us. I have a friend, they worked on their bachelor's with kids. She had 3 kids. She got a bachelor with being a single parent. Then she graduated, got her master's. When she got her master's, she graduated and she crossed stage with her daughter. And now she's working on a doctorate, but through all that paper effort, it's a physical effort, and it takes a physical toll. Now she's working on her doctrine on herself. And that's what we have to do. We're working on, and that's what the community doing. We're working on the doctrine of ourselves. We're trying to create, human wealth. through our civil and human rights, we're going to create this strong bond with our neighbors. You know, and it won't be, it will be transitional through color. You know, I'm discussing color only because it's an economic structure and struggle in some of my communities that I live and I work in and I own. So I have to try to focus on how we can take our spending power and create this wealth and eat to the fourth power, but will be a brand that not only transcend through color, but it comes through color, and that's fine as long as it's a positive outlet to our community. You know, I prayed. I remember I was in 4th grade, and my teacher, a Caucasian man, told me what I was doing wrong. He sat down and told me, I'll never forget it. His name was Mr. Olson, and I'm sure he's not alive today, but I hope he is. But 4th grade, and here I am at 54 years old. And when I was in 10th grade, I think I had to be 10 years old, he told me something about myself. And I took that, instead of turning it into a negative, I turned it into a positive. And every day that I blessed that he said to take time out to educate me about life. And sometimes he's not the only one. There's many of them. And it transcends color because I'm listening to what it takes. And because I wouldn't have all this knowledge if I didn't share it with people that transcend color. You know, and that's one thing that once we move forward, it's going to transcend through everybody. Everybody's going to be a part of E to the fourth power. And it is already, because the things that I need and ask for come through people of non-African American descent. So I'm looking forward to discussing and enhancing that. You know, I'm going to get, later on down the road, I'm going to bring a young man. He has a book out that I'm trying to push. He's got a book out there on his father getting shot at 9 years old, and now he's about 13 years old now. He's been traveling all over the country discussing, you know, the pain and the struggles that he's been through, and he gets paid to do this, you know. But he wants to even go into jail to discuss the pain that somebody has sent him through by shooting his father, the economic struggle they struggled losing their father and his sisters and his mother, being without his best friend. Education-wise, not being able to focus in school, entitlement-wise, feeling that he's entitled to have his father and somebody to take it away from him. And Spongement to think that he has to heal himself by allowing, forgive the person that's in jail and come back into the community and be productive. So he talked about his struggles and his counseling, and it helps a lot of people. So I got a lot of things that I'm doing to try to create people to understand the things that we need to do to move forward through these E to the fourth power. If you get an opportunity, please email us at gsjbcradio at gmail.com, our website. Send us type us a note or something at wgsjbcradio.com. We really would appreciate it. And also you can call anytime at our phone number at 630-215-8582. Like I said, this is Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio. I look forward to you tuning in on a regular basis because it's a great opportunity, and the music that you hear during our commercial break is some of the best music in the world. And I look forward to doing some things outside of being on the radio, outside of the radio station, to create the knowledge and empowerment of the station. And so I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to your calls. And if you have any questions, you can write me and tell me some of the things that you may not can't get on the radio at the same time that I'm open for 6 to 7. But it's maybe you can start, and I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll start doing that on social media. I'll ask people questions that they would like to ask me, saying that they can't be on the station, that they can chime in and leave me messages, so every week that I come on, they can, some things that they might not know that they might want to know, and they'll get it through E to the fourth power, and maybe we can partner off that way, because we have to create more than one ways to communicate to get the message out. What E to the fourth power is trying to do, we're trying to build a legacy of moving the community forward, and I look forward to it. I look forward to discussing every aspect of moving our community forward. And if you have any ideas, you have any businesses? Are you want to be sponsored? Are you need to? If you are a center of influence, I'd love to have you as a guest on the radio station because we're moving and shaking over here, and we want to be able to put the quality. Not only me just talking on the radio show, but we want to be able to bring you on the show just as we had in the past. The majority of my shows, I do bring a co-host in here to discuss some of the things. And if you have anything that you like to discuss, a topic that you feel is a major concern, please don't hesitate to give us a call at, like I said, 630-215-8582, and to enhance how we can better our communication to you as a guest. With that, like I say, this is C.J. Graham, E to the fourth power on Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio. We're almost about to wind this station, wind it up a little bit. I just like to thank everybody for tuning in. I like to appreciate the call, Scott calling me to discuss and put in his input on how things that he's trying to do and the things that he's trying to work with us, and how we can make this a better community. And that's the whole focus on E to the fourth power. You know, you'll be getting to see my brand come out there. You'll see the label of E to the fourth power. And I'm looking at doing some things with it. I look forward to discussing some of those things, because that way, you can see how creative we're getting to put the word out and put our brand out there to let everybody know that we're not just sitting here talking on the radio. We're actually moving forward. I get an opportunity, especially on social media, when people connect me with different groups, and I got this group. It's an art collection of people that are into the arts, and they have created shoes, paintings, clothing, tattoo styles, just an array of different things. When you go on there, you're not just talking, you're creating information that I can bring back to the show to enhance what I do here. And I look forward to as I begin to grow, to bring those products. I mean, people are doing some tremendous thing, and through a radio station like Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio, we can bring people to the table that they normally wouldn't be able to bring their product and their brand to the community. And that's what I'm doing with E to the fourth power. I'm bringing the financial service of my experience. I'm bringing into the nonprofit. I'm bringing into the being a what do you call an activist in the community, a political leader. You name it, I try to do it. So then I'm bringing it to here so I can educate my listener, and you educate the people who are listening, transfer it to everybody else. So it's called a work of art, and this gets better as we go along. My family has supported me in doing these things, and I look forward to my daughter helping me create making myself a little more smoother on the radio, a little more smoother in taking care of the business, a little more smoother in generating opportunity for not only myself and my family, but the people around me, and in a very safe environment. As we sit here in Chicago area, I'm finna check out of here. I'm finna jump on the highway. I want everybody to try to be safe out there, and try to, look out for other people the way E to the fourth power is trying to do. And in this last few minutes, I want to try to once again chime in next week with Dr. Morgan, so we can chime in on focusing on education, because education has become the centerpiece of our community, and it's the key to wealth. Somebody discussed with me about education and streets. I still rather have the education, and I'm blessed to know about the streets. But I say, you get old in the streets fast, and if you can make it through the streets, but education and learning and listening and educating yourself about everything is a lot better by reading and picking up a book or listening than having it on the streets. We laughed about it because I was peeping in and out of the car. I say, what? If I'm running the streets, I got to go up and down. You see me, it's a survival course. So I'd rather learn through somebody telling me, applying the positive, and then seeing it in the streets. But the streets have allowed me to communicate with the people who can't get that education. I have certain things that they can't do, and so that's what the radio station is for. I'd like you next week to chime in the Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio, And I look forward to your calls. Let's write this down at 630-215-8582 and give us an opportunity to create the legacy that we want to try to push for with each of the fourth power of this radio show. I'm looking forward to empowering. The radio show has given us an opportunity to empower ourselves to grow. You know, we can create a lot of network of taking that spending power and putting it into compound money, put it into compound businesses, creating franchises, creating wealth. You know, just like I tell you today, I say, well, if you order these many shirts, I can charge you $3. But if you only order these many, it's going to cost you $12. So that tells me compound makes a difference. Whether I got 100 people, I got 2 people, I'm going to pay the maximum amount of dollar. But if I got a whole lot of it, we can spread the cost along 100 people. And people have to understand that's where economics come in. And that where education come in, because now you have to understand, how would I apply that? I have to know a fraction. I have to know decimals. How do I, then if I'm going to be entitled to, how do you know you're entitled to it if you didn't read about it? Or didn't you apply something to know that what you're entitled to? These young people understand they feel as though it's entitlement because they see things that they think that they should already have. In Spongement, they see that it's available for, there's plenty of people that done recovered from the negative things that they done put out. So all in all, what we're doing is we're creating an opportunity by communicating. And we're focusing on those things that each of the four powers is focusing on to create that. I love talking to most of my friends when we discuss it. They're happy for me that I'm trying to do this. And I'm going to do it on the highest of level because I'm trying to make it a certified way, and they hear it. One thing about it, if you keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it again, it gets embedded into the back of your mind. I don't have to beat it to you physically. I can talk it through your brains. I can communicate it every day. And when I communicate it every day to you, it'll start being a part of your lifestyle. That you're focusing on economics, that you're focusing on how you're spending your money. It's not how much you make, it's what you do with what you have. You know, and that's created. You can do that through understanding the focus of economics and education. You have your teachers, you have your doctors, you have your lawyers. These are the mainstream people that create a stable community. So education is important. And when you're talking about entitlement, that means in order to take entitlement, you have to do something in order to say that you're entitled to something. What have you done to entitle yourself? What have been done against you to entitle yourself? And if you have to qualify for all of this expungement to get something, you got to qualify. You can't just, no, you got to work hard. You got to go out there, and you got to network, and you got to create. You know, the biggest key to the middle class business is and I want to wrap this up. The key to the middle class is they're creating. Not only do they work every day, but they're constantly they're small business people. They're small business people. They doing a 9 to 5. Before I stopped doing 9 to 5, I was doing 9 to 9. And my whole objective was to get out of 9 to 9. That's the next step for the wealth, to have your own business, to create your own wealth. And that way you can create jobs and create opportunity. You know, and hopefully, you know, you can do it. It don't make it much difference how much you make as a business, but as long as you're doing it in the right direction. So each time that I come on the show, I'm going to bring somebody from this point on that's going to be discussing education, and it's going to surround those each of the four powers. They're going to specialize in economics. They're going to specialize in all the things that it takes for this so we can be successful in this community. And each of the four power, we're going to do that. We're going to bring businesses out here. We're going to bring a whole bunch of things in. I look forward to talking to you next week. Like I say, this Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. This CJ Graham, and this E to the Fourth Power. It's your number love. Look forward to seeing you and talking to you next week. And stay tuned, like I say, to Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio and number love. Okay, take care now.